All right, folks, I'm going to call the meeting to order. As required under the Planning Act, a public meeting is being held prior to the committee making a decision on these applications. And first of all, I would advise for those sitting here that we live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel, and the recording is available after the meeting. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all of these ways, video or audio recording by members of the public is not permitted in these council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make a deputation feel at ease. Thank you for your cooperation. And having said all that, first of all, I'll introduce the Committee of Adjustment. We have Ms. Richardson, Mr. Erickson, Mr. Finn, Mr. Strangway, Ms. Archer, and I'm Mr. Robertson. And I've got a list here. I'll go through it as far as our staff are concerned. We've got the Director of Development Services, Ms. Berry. We have Ms. Evans, Acting Development Supervisor. We have Mr. Shahid, Planner 2, Mr. Okawat, Planner 2, and Mr. Lahaye, our Secretary Treasurer. We have Mr. McKinnon, the Supervisor of Plans, Review, and Inspections, and our Recording Secretary, Ms. Crockford. Very good. Now you know why I need a menu or an agenda. It goes on and on. All right. The agenda. Are there any comments or questions with respect to the agenda as printed? Being none, can I get a motion? Ms. Archer, Mr. Strangway. No further comments or questions? And the agenda is printed. All those in favor? And that carries. All right, we won't need to worry about it recorded today, so. All right. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? All right, being none, the minutes of the last meeting. Any comments or questions before I ask for a motion? All right, no comments or questions. Then I can get a motion on the floor. Mr. Finn, Mr. Erickson, no further comments or questions? All those in favor of the motion on the floor? And that carries. Thank you. All right, for the benefit of the folks that are sitting in the gallery and for those online, and I'm sure there are some there today, the committee will hear comments, gather information, and may ask questions to clarify statements made. The committee may ask and answer questions or redirect questions to the appropriate person. Please note that any information or comments given to the committee during this meeting, they are considered evidence. We will first hear from staff, then the applicant or his or her agent. We will then hear from any person in support of or from those who have questions, concerns, or are opposed to the application. Finally, the applicant or his or her agent will have an opportunity to respond to any of the statements made to the committee. I would advise that if you wish to speak and you're here, that you raise your hand when I ask if the applicant is here or if there's someone that wishes to speak to the application. I'll ask you to come forward, and there is a button there. You'll see a red light come on that activates that mic so we can hear what you have to say. And for those online, when you come on stream, I would appreciate if you give us your name, and then I will ask you to go ahead. We afford everyone 10 minutes to make their presentation. No one has ever taken that kind of time, but if you find that you just can't possibly get all of that information in those 10 minutes, then I will ask the committee if they will afford you a couple more minutes to finish. But as I say, I don't think anyone has ever taken that kind of time. So, having said all that, okay, where are we here? Too much paper. Okay, we're now dealing with deferred application D20-2025-029. And this is 195 Campbell Beach Road, Geographic Township of Carden. Ms. Evans, do you wish to speak to it?
Yes, thank you. So as you may remember, this application came to the April 23rd Committee of Adjustment meeting and was deferred for a period of no longer than 3 months to be returning to this meeting to give the proponents some time to work with the Conservation Authority to work through some of their concerns. Since that time, the proponents have decided to withdraw their minor variance application, so it will not be returning to the Committee of Adjustment.
Thank you. Comments or questions with respect to Ms. Evans' presentation? All right, being none, and we'll leave that as is. All right. Now dealing with file number D20-2025-027, and this is Geographic Township of Emily, Part Lot 21, Concession 12, Geographic Township of Emily. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of Pigeon Lake with access from Pigeon Lake Road. The area is predominantly residential with low-density residential buildings along the shoreline and larger agricultural lots. The lots along the shoreline vary in depth with existing dwellings and accessory structures situated at varying distances from both the shoreline and the road. So the subject property currently contains a trailer, shed, and privy. The application seeks to facilitate the construction of a one-story single detached dwelling, as well as to recognize the existing shed. The existing trailer and privy are temporary use and are to be removed upon completion of construction of the proposed dwelling as per condition number 2. So this application originally appeared at the April 2025 committee hearing and was deferred at that time due to comments and concerns that were raised by the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority that required further review and evaluation. The property is heavily buffered by vegetation at its front lot line, limiting visibility from the road. The proposed dwelling may support housing diversity by providing an alternative small footprint housing option. And due to the lack of depth between the front lot line and the shoreline, which is approximately 37 meters, the placement of any building or structure is difficult when considering the required setbacks and as well the placement of a septic system. So due to the proposed septic system being in the front yard, the potential locations for the dwelling are restricted, as it must take into account both the distance from the septic and the shoreline. And this lack of depth is consistent across the shoreline lots along Pigeon Lake Road, as many of the dwellings on waterfront lots are deficient in meeting the required water setback. And the applicant has also indicated that the proposed dwelling will not include a basement and will be situated on piers that elevate the building to ensure any seasonal high water events will not impact the dwelling. After the writing of the report, comments were received from the supervisor of Part 8 sewage systems, who stated an alternative type sewage proposal will be used to service the proposed dwelling, and as a result, the septic division has no concerns with the proposal. And during the last 3 months, the applicant was working with the KRCA, Kawartha Region Conservation Authority, in order to work through their previous comments and concerns. So the KRCA has now come back and they're stating that they're in support of the application and that the permit will be required. And their full comments were provided to our committee members prior to this meeting. All in all, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Strangway, question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Shahid, 2 quick questions. You mentioned an alternative septic system. Are we looking at a holding tank here, or do we know what this alternative system is?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to be honest, I'm not too sure exactly in regards to details regarding the septic. Perhaps the supervisor over here knows, but me, myself, I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Maybe save that if the applicant's on, we can ask.
Okay. And second question, just out of interest, when I look at the diagram there and I look here, it appears that the lot line goes way out into the water, and I haven't seen that on other applications. I was just wondering what the nature of that is.
Yes, so, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. So essentially, when we look at our GIS mapping, that's how the lot boundary is shown. And using a survey, like referring to a survey that was provided by the applicant, it says that that portion used to actually be land, and then I guess the shoreline ended up getting closer to the road because of potential flooding over time.
Interesting, thank you.
Yeah, that may very well reflect the shoreline road allowance, which they may have purchased, so they may have included it as part of the lot, I don't know. Mr. Finn?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I'm just looking at Appendix C to the report, and I wonder, I know you mentioned the septic system in the front yard, but is there room to move the proposed dwelling closer to the road frontage?
Mr. Sheed?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the front yard setback needs to be 7.5 meters. Right now, they're at 11.3 meters. But I believe there's a required setback that they need to be from the septic. So I'm not sure how flexible we can be in terms of moving the dwelling closer to the road. But when I was looking at aerial imagery, they're proposing it approximately along the same line as where essentially the neighboring dwellings are located.
Yeah.
Mr. McKinnon, I saw you nod there. Did you wish to add?
Thank you.
Anything further from committee? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? And does the applicant wish to speak to the application? I'm told they are online. Go ahead,
Yeah.
wherever.
Sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Thomas Grace of Grace & Associates Inc.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
So with regards to the sewage system, I can answer that question. So the proposed system is what's classified as a Class D sewage system. It's an enviroseptic, otherwise known as a System O. So the idea with that is that it reduces the overall footprint size, depth to the water table between the bottom of the pipes. It provides almost tertiary treatment of the sewage works. So in essence, it's the best system that can essentially be placed in that location and ensures that there's no impact to the surface water as well. With regards to the survey, yes, that's an interesting situation where, in fact, it became brought to our attention anyway that it was referred to as inundated lands. And how it actually came about, we've never been able to find an answer that, sort of provided us with details on that. And with respect to moving the dwelling, anything is possible. We basically tried to maintain a certain amount of buffer, shall we say, between the water and also the roadway. We can certainly move it a little bit, and consideration in conjunction with talking to the Part 8 supervisor at the City of Kawartha Lakes, we would even consider moving the sewage system to the other side of the driveway, pending their approval and review of the site conditions. So there is a little bit of flexibility, but as has been presented, there is setback requirements, 7.5 from the actual, so 7.5 meters from the frontage.
That'll be enough, committee, no more of that. Go ahead, sir.
Pardon? I'm sorry?
Please continue.
Yes. So then what happened was that there's a 3-meter setback from the sewage works to from the dwelling itself. So it doesn't leave an awful lot of ability to move things around, but we can certainly work within that framework.
Mr. Shaheed, there was a lot of numbers tossed around. Do you have any response to anything that was said? Mr. Finn, did you have a further?
No, thank you.
Are there any questions of the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome.
All right. Is there anyone here or online that wishes to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? All right, committee, I'm advised there aren't, so your wishes. Mr. Strangway?
As recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Erickson, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Thank you. Your application is approved, sir. Yes.
Should we have a recommendation to receive 3.1.1, the memo?
Do you wish one? Listen, it can't hurt. So do you wish to make it? All right. So that's the memo from Ms. Evans with respect to the first deferral. So your motion is to...
Receive the memo.
All right. Do I have a seconder? Ms. Archer? Okay. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor? Thank you, Ms. Richardson. I think that's probably the proper way to deal with it. So thank you. All righty. All right, we're dealing with file number D20-2025-056, and this is 46 Birch Glen Drive, Geographic Township of Somerville. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of 4 Mile Lake with access from Birch Glen Road. The subject property currently contains a single detached dwelling, a boathouse, and a shed. The proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of a deck connecting the existing dwelling and boathouse. The proposed deck will provide a safe connection between the existing dwelling and the boathouse, which is necessitated by the steep topography of the property. So as seen from the pictures taken during my site visit shown on the slides, it was evident that the proposed deck will create an accessible pathway for accessing the waterfront. The proposed deck does not introduce built form closer to the shoreline than what exists today, as there is an existing boathouse that is already located at the water's edge, and the proposed deck solely connects the two existing structures. As the deck is proposed to be uncovered, it will visually blend with the surrounding open space, and sufficient space for vegetation and drainage is maintained through compliant yard setbacks and lot coverage. After the writing of the report, the chief building official from the building division stated they have no concerns with the application. Kawartha Conservation stated they are in support of the application and the permit will not be required. And with respect to public comments, the neighbor and owner of 50 Birch Glen Drive submitted comments in support of the application. To conclude, staff acknowledges the proposed consent represents good planning. Sorry, not the proposed consent. I'm sorry about that. That the minor variance meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions of the planner? All right, being none, is the applicant here or online? Yes, sir. Do you wish to speak to the application? All right. I got someone online then. All right. Yeah, your name, sir? We can't hear you. Can you push a button there?
Yes, sorry
Thank you.
about that. My name is Guillaume Minessa. I am the co-owner of the property alongside with my wife, Julie Tran, and I believe our contractor, Joe McCool, is in the gallery as well. I want to thank the committee for considering our application. This is very much done in the spirit of accessibility. We have a young child who is 4 years old. The property is very steep. And the path currently going down to the shoreline is laden with rocks, some of which are fairly loose. In this context, we feel the proposed deck will add a layer of safety for our young child, and we very much appreciate the consideration of the committee in that regard.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your presentation. Are there any questions of the delegate? All right, being none. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application, opposition to the application? I should go back to you, sir. Did you wish to say anything further to it? No? All right, thank you. All righty. Committee, where are we? Ms. Richardson,
As recommended by staff.
second. Mr. Finn, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All those in favor? And that carries. The application is approved, sir.
Thank you to the committee. Much appreciated.
All right, moving right along. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-057, and this is 2 Omega Road, Geographic Township of Fenland. And committee, just for your info, we did have an amendment package there, so you might want to have a look at that. Go ahead, Mr. Okawat.
Thank you. Before I get into the evaluation of the application, I want to speak to the reliefs that was circulated and the additional reliefs that were later identified as being required. The circulation of this application did not include the required relief from the exterior side yard setback. After the circulation, it was determined that this relief was required. The sketch that was circulated to the public had this measurement listed, but it was not highlighted as needing a relief. No public comments were received in opposition to this report, and although this relief was not highlighted, it was still visible to the public. Furthermore, a revised site plan was provided that includes a separate entrance for the proposal. It is not anticipated to alter the report in any way. Given this context, staff are of the opinion that the application can proceed with the additional relief added as already detailed in the report without the need for recirculation. Mr. Chair, I will turn this back to you to determine if committee would like to proceed.
Committee, any problems with what was said? Go ahead.
Thank you. The subject property is situated in the geographic township of Fenland along Balsam Lake with access from Omega Road. Furthermore, the property is situated in a waterfront community. The lot is currently developed with a single-story detached dwelling, a boathouse, and a shed. Based on data from MPAC, the house was built in 1990. The proposal seeks to add permit the construction of a detached garage that contains an additional residential unit, or ARU. Relief is required from the front yard setback, location to the structure, maximum lot coverage, minimum lot area required for an additional residential unit, and exterior side yard setback. The subject property is zoned rural residential type 3 under the Township of Fenland zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw requires a minimum front yard setback of 7.5 meters and an exterior side yard setback of 7.5 meters. The proposed front yard setback is 1.2 meters and the exterior setback is 2.2 meters. The proposed structure will be surrounded by tall vegetation, creating a physical and visual buffer from the road. It is not anticipated to impede any sight lines, and adequate space remains for traffic flow and road maintenance. The maximum lot coverage for accessory structures is 8%. The proposal is for an 8.4% lot coverage. The intent of this provision is to ensure accessory structures remain subordinate to the primary residential use and allow for sufficient open space. The proposed 8.4% lot coverage is a minor increase and does not compromise the use or character of the property. Furthermore, substantial open space, including amenity space and vegetated areas, will be maintained. The zoning bylaw also requires accessory structures to be located within the rear or interior yard. The proposal seeks to permit the accessory structure within the front yard. In waterfront communities, garages located in the front yard are common to accommodate direct driveway access and to avoid non-compliance with the minimum water setback. The proposed garage is consistent with the existing built form, supported by a unified and compatible streetscape. Finally, the minimum lot area required for an ARU is 0.4 hectares when on private services. The existing lot area is 0.27 hectares. Although the lot is smaller than required, it can still accommodate the additional residential unit as it maintains adequate separation from the main dwelling and sufficient access. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the septic division that adds a condition to be placed on any minor variance endorsement to satisfy the supervisor of Part 8 sewage systems for concerns related to private on-site sewage disposal. Comments were also received after the writing of the report from the Building Division and Engineering Department, indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Strangway, question of the planner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, just one question. Is this going to be a one-story or two-story building?
I believe it's going to be a 2-story building.
And being a two-story, I was just wondering, should there be relief for the height? We often see with garages that people ask for relief when it becomes a 2-story garage.
So through the chair, I believe because this is an ARU, there's a provision that allows it to go up to 10 meters.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Ms. Archer?
Through you, please, to the planner. I see on page 2 that it's an ARU is permitted as of right in addition to the primary residential unit. Does that mean, and then on the sketch rather, it's called a cottage. So is the primary residential unit the primary residential unit on this property or the owner's primary residential unit?
Through the chair, this would just refer to the primary use. Whether it's the primary residence of the owner, it shouldn't interfere with the actual zoning bylaw, but the primary use would be that primary dwelling that's already existing.
It's the primary use of this land, not that they own a home somewhere and this is a cottage. I've just never seen an ARU, I don't think, associated with a cottage before.
Through the chair, yes, I think this may be the existing. I'm not too sure on that, but it shouldn't impede in any way for the ARU being listed.
I have a feeling it's only the beginning. Further questions? Yes, Mr. Finn?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify for my own information, the distinction between the exterior side yard setback and the front yard setback, the address for this property is 2 Omega Road. Is Omega Road not the front yard?
So the front yard would actually be Jasper. That's north of the property. Omega is the civic address that's been assigned to it. So the exterior side, so the front yard in this case would be the north lot line, just because that one is the shorter lot line that abuts a street. So that's how we have identified those sidelines.
Thank you.
Further questions of the planner? All right, being none. Is the applicant here? Yes. I recognize that lady. If you'd give us your name anyway, I'd appreciate that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, my name is Vanessa Archer. I'm from TD Consulting. We're the agent on the file. I would like to thank Cheyenne, being our first file I think that he's had for our company, and we've given him one that was a little trickier, so we wanted to test him out a bit there. But I appreciate his work on this, and if there are any additional questions from committee, I am here.
I would just say in response to your comments, we're up to every challenge. How's that? The Deputy? All right, thank you.
If I can just add, the question regarding the height, he's correct because it's an ARU. We do have some issues that are coming up with the septic, but we are going to clear that up with Part 8 system, sewage system as a condition there. But the height is covered right now as an ARU. If it was to not be an ARU, that would be a height issue that would need to be incorporated, but at this point, we're okay.
Thank you. Any questions by the committee? No? All right, thank you. All right. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee. Where are we? Mr. Strangway.
As recommended by staff.
Ms. Richardson, did I see your hand there?
With the amended condition.
Yes, well, it'll be, yeah, absolutely. It's, all right, so we've got moved by Mr. Strangway, seconded by the amended motion. All right, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Amended motion on the floor. All right, Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Your application is approved. All right. Dealing now with file number D20-2025-058, and this is 76 Coldstream Road, Geographic Township of Fenland. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is situated on the shoreline of the Rosedale River with access from Coldstream Road. The property is heavily vegetated at its front lot line and western side lot line. The property abuts an unopened road allowance at its western side lot line. So the property currently contains a single detached dwelling and 2 sheds. The proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of a new boathouse and recognize the relocation of the existing shed in the rear yard. So this shed has already been relocated and its new location can be seen on Appendix C and also as on the sketch on the slide. So the subject property again is located next to an unopened road allowance on the west side, which is separated from the lot by a dense row of tall trees along the property line. Due to this heavy vegetation, it is not apparent that a road allowance exists in this area, and the western edge of the property functions more like a typical interior side yard. And the road allowance is not currently open or in use, and I spoke to the Public Works Division, who have confirmed that there are no current plans to open that road allowance and that the land is currently serving as a drainage ditch, which further reduces the likelihood of it being developed in the future. But regardless of its status, the property is well buffered and its location adjacent to the unopened road allowance does not negatively affect surrounding views or create any land use conflicts. After the writing of the report, both the Development Engineering Division and the Chief Building Official of the Building Division stated they have no objections or concerns with the application. And Kawartha Conservation stated they are in support of the application and that a permit will be required. All in all, staff acknowledges the proposed minor variance meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Ms. Archer.
You please, could you tell me where the location of the second shed is?
Through you, Mr. Chair, sure. So you referred to the sketch on Appendix C of the report. I don't think it's shown actually on the slide, but it is, oh, it actually is. It's right, there's a little square structure in front of the house. Let me figure it out. Yeah. I don't know how to use the laser function on this. It's right there. So that's an existing shed. That's one of them.
So where it's situated is fine. We're not concerned with its positioning?
No, it's not. That shed is not subject to this application. No, we're just looking at the shed in the rear yard and the proposed boathouse.
Follow up, Ms. Archer?
I couldn't see the pointer, so to me, the shed is in the front yard, and we're quite okay with having the shed in the front yard?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we're just looking at the existing shed in the rear yard because it has been relocated, and we're looking at the proposed boathouse. Those are the 2 structures that are subject to this minor variance application.
Understand that, but is the shed in the front yard allowable? Is it permissible under the bylaws?
So under the zoning bylaw, you can't have an accessory structure or a shed in the front yard. This accessory structure might be legal non-conforming, and I'm not sure at what point it was erected, so I can't speak on its legal status of it being there.
Anything further from committee? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? I'm told someone's online. Yes, sir, and your name?
Ryan Hayter.
Go ahead, sir.
First of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for looking at this application and thank the committee for coming up with some questions for me. The shed that's in the front yard was there existing before we did the project there. We did build this house in about 2 years ago. And it was already there. So I guess it would be a legal non-conforming sort of a thing. Unless the bylaw, I know some of the municipalities, you are allowed to have accessory structures in the front yard if you're on water.
All right. Anything further?
No, I don't think so. If anybody else has any questions,
All right.
shoot away.
Now I saw another person there. Does that person wish to speak to the application? All right. I'm going to assume not. All right. Are there any questions of the deputant? Thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? All right. Being none, committee. Mr. Steinway?
As recommended by staff.
Seconded by Mr. Finn. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All right. Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. The motion is approved. Your application is approved. Now, I'm getting curveballs off this screen, so who am I looking at now? Are you with the Coldstream application, sir? Zoe, help me out here. Oh, he's not?
To the chair, I think it's just because they have their cameras on, that's why they're coming up on the TV.
All right. Sir, we would ask if you can hear me that you turn your camera off until we're ready to have you come on. All right. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-059, and this is 23 Rockside Lane, Geographic Township of Carden. Mr. Okawat, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. The subject property is situated in the geographic township of Carden with access from Rockside Lane, Rohalian Road, and Centennial Park Road. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling and a shed. The property is substantially larger than the surrounding residential lots and features an upward slope leading towards the single detached dwelling. Trees and other vegetation surround the property, providing ample privacy. The proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of a detached garage in the front yard. Relief is required from the location of the accessory structure. The subject property is zoned rural residential, rural general zone and environmental protection zone under the Township of Carden zoning bylaw. The proposal is not located within or near the environmental protection zone. The rural general zone permits a single detached dwelling and accessory uses, as well as an agricultural use, buildings, and structures. The zoning bylaw requires that a detached accessory structure be located in the interior side or rear yard to reduce visual impact and preserve front yard space and maintain a consistent streetscape. In this case, neighboring properties also feature similar structures, and the proposed garage aligns with established character of the area and contributes to a cohesive streetscape. Furthermore, the property is surrounded by trees and vegetation, providing ample natural privacy. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the Building Division and Engineering Department indicating that they have no concerns. Comments were also received from KRCA indicating that they have no concerns. However, a condition has been added that prior to issuance of a building permit, the owner provide written confirmation from Kawartha Region Conservation Authority to the Secretary, Treasurer, and Planning Administration that the review fee has been paid within a period of 1 month after the notice of decision, failing which this application shall be deemed to be refused. And staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions of the planner? Ms. Archer?
Through you, please, to the planner. I see on page 3, it says relief is required from the maximum permitted height of an accessory structure as well as the proposed location, but that's not one of the reliefs sought in the beginning, in the preamble?
Through the chair, yeah, this report had a sentence saying that it would still require variance for height because at one point we thought it did. After circulation and the writing of the report, we got an actual measurement based on the definition of the zoning bylaw and how it's defined as height. It was actually below what was required. So we removed that variance from being needed, but I guess it slipped through the cracks through the actual report.
Anything further from committee? I'm just curious, Mr. Okawit, is it, I don't believe I've seen one of these before. The committee may correct me on this, but it looks like we're collecting a fee for Kawartha Conservation. Can you, is that something that we've done in the past? Because I don't recall seeing it before.
Yeah, so whenever there's KRCA requires comments to be issued, they do request a fee. In this case, there was, if you could just give me one moment, I can pull up the exact. There are karst formations because there is on this property, there is a formation of Canadian shield substantially throughout this property. So they needed to issue out their comments and a fee is just required because as of now, the comments have been released, but a fee hasn't been submitted to KRCA. So we added that condition so that KRCA gets their fee collected, if that makes sense.
Anything further from committee? All right. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application?
Yes, please. Hello, members of committee.
I'm sorry,
Thank you for your
sir.
time this afternoon. My name is Robert Agivaev.
All right, go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to add with regards to the fees. The fee was e-transferred earlier this morning, and with regards to the location of the proposed structure, the goal was to keep the garage closer to the front yard, just for accessibility, and
we've lost you, sir.
We discovered that there's quite a bit of shale rock on the side lot, so we wanted it closer to the front, so just it's easier for moving dirt and digging for the foundation.
All right, thank you, sir. Wish to say anything further?
Thank you.
Okay. Questions of the applicant? We're up in quarry country there, so lots of limestone and lots of shale. All right. Is there anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of this application, in support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application. I heard what was said, but I probably leave that amended condition in there, folks. So, all right. So, do I have a motion amended? All right, Ms. Richardson, seconded by Mr. Finn. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? It's approved. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you, committee members.
Thank you. And moving right along, we're now dealing with file number D20-2025-060, and this is 121 Robin Road, Geographic Township of Fenland. Mr. Okawat, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. The subject property is situated within a rural area in the geographic township of Fenland with an access from Robin Road. The primary use of the surrounding area is agriculture, and there are no structures on the other neighboring properties that abut the location of the proposed development. The property currently contains a single detached dwelling and several barns. The proposal seeks to facilitate the construction of a detached two-story garage. The garage is to be constructed in the rear yard. The owner has indicated that the proposed second story is desired to allow for the storage of personal items and belongings. Relief is required from the maximum permitted height of a residential accessory structure. The subject property is zoned agricultural and Environmental Protection Exception 1 zone under the Township of Fenland zoning bylaw. The A1 zone permits a single detached dwelling and accessory uses as well as agricultural buildings, structures, and uses. Furthermore, the proposal is not located in or near the Environmental Protection Zone. The zoning bylaw permits a maximum height of 5 meters for accessory structures. You will see in the report that the requested relief was 8.5 meters. However, after the height was measured, as per the definition of the height in the zoning bylaw, the accurate height is listed as 6.3 meters, and a notice of decision will reflect this change. The intent of this provision is to regulate the vertical dimension of accessory structures while preserving the visual character of an area and preventing structures from overshadowing neighboring properties. The proposed detached garage is positioned in the rear yard, placing it more in a discrete and less visually predominant area of the property. The garage's gross floor area will remain secondary to that of the main dwelling, preserving the subordinate relationship required for an accessory structure. Given the area's predominantly agricultural character, it is common for properties to feature taller structures that support farming operations. For comparative purposes, the zoning bylaw allows for increased height for structures associated with agricultural uses within the applicable zoning. While the proposed garage is accessory to the residential use and therefore is subject to the maximum 5-meter height provision, its height is not out of character with other buildings in the area. Comments were received after the writing of the report from engineering department indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? Ms. Archer?
Just one, and it's mainly a comment. Are there no restrictions as to what the sketch is supposed to look like? I wanted to turn this down just because I couldn't read a thing on the sketch.
Through the chair, there's no set requirements for these sketches. We do try to push the applicant to make a readable sketch, because at the end of the day, whatever the sketch quality represents what the quality of their overall report. But in this instance, I assumed that this sketch in all terms of purposes had the required information in it. In terms of visual appeal, there is no requirement to get a professional sketch done currently.
Don't necessarily mean professional, but a ruler would have been nice.
Some of us aren't as artistic as others, eh? That's just, yeah. All right. Further from committee? All right. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? Okay, your name, sir?
My name's Josh Sage.
Do you wish to speak to the application?
No, I don't think I need to.
All right.
Unless there's any questions.
All righty. Are there any questions of the applicant? Looks like your easy day.
Perfect.
Good. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? Support of the application? Anyone here or online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee. Ms. Archer.
As printed.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn? All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All those in favor? That carries. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
And you. All right, we're now dealing with file number D20-2025-061, 73 Kenray Road, Geographic Township of Fenland. Ms. Evans, haven't heard from you for a while.
The subject property is designated rural and environmental protection under the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan and is zoned rural residential type 1 and environmental protection under the Township of Fenland zoning bylaw. The proposed development is not within the EP designation or zone. The property is in an area that contains residential and agricultural uses, as well as environmentally protected areas. We're just southwest of Kenreid Conservation Area here. The property currently contains a recently constructed single detached dwelling and a shed. And the dwelling is not in this air photo because this air photo is from 2023. Dwelling was constructed in 2024, just to clarify. The shed that I just mentioned and as seen in this photo is to be removed or relocated to a permitted location as per condition 3 of the report, as well as Appendix E. The proposal is to construct a detached garage that is to contain an additional residential unit or ARU in the future. Relief is needed from section 3.1.2.1 of the zoning bylaw, which permits accessory structures in the interior side or rear yard. The proposed garage ARU is to be located in the front yard. Also, section 3.1.3.2, which permits a maximum height for accessory structures of 5 meters. The proposed height is 5.3 meters. Just a clarification on the height. So ARUs do have permitted height of 10 meters. However, the proponent here plans to construct this as a detached garage first, leave a shell for the ARU, and then do some of the finishing touches later on. So as of right now, I wanted to take this for the height for a garage as if it was a garage, just in case plans change in the future, they decide they don't want to pursue an ARU anymore, then they are covered for their extra height because we are at 5.3 meters. And again, the maximum height for an accessory structure that does not include an ARU is 5 meters. So the garage ARU here is next to a stand of mature trees, which provide a visual buffer and could result in the structure appearing shorter. It's also not anticipated that the additional 0.3 meters in height will be perceptible when viewing the property from the road or from neighboring properties. The proposed location of the garage also abuts the neighbor's detached garage, so impacts to residential uses are not anticipated here. So the photo on the left was taken from the road, just showing the property, and then the photo on the right is the proposed location of the garage, and that brown structure is the shed that is to be either removed or relocated to a permitted location. So again, there is some mature vegetation between the front lot line and the proposed location of the garage ARU, providing a visual buffer. The property is 2.2 acres in size, so there is ample amenity space here. And there are several properties in the immediate vicinity that have garages in the front yard, so the proposal is in keeping with the existing built form. After the writing of the report, comments were received from the Building and Septic Division that there are no concerns related to the proposed application and that a building permit will be required and the ARU will need to be registered. Also, the supervisor of Part 8 sewage systems commented that there are no concerns with the minor variance as it relates to on-site sewage disposal. No other comments of concern were raised by any of these circulated agencies, and no comments were received from members of the public. Based on the contents of the report, staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application, subject to the conditions identified within the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Questions of the planner? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? Wouldn't appear that they're here, so. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? I'm advised none. Committee. Mr. Finn?
As recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Erickson, any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Thank you. All right, dealing with file number D20-2025-062. This is 84 Adelaide Street South, former town of Lindsay. Mr. O'Cowett, you're a busy fellow today.
Thank you. The subject property is situated within the center of the former town of Lindsay and surrounded by residential communities. The property currently contains 2 retirement home complexes. The proposal seeks to permit the construction of a solar panel structure. Relief is required for the exterior side yard setback for accessory structures and maximum lot coverage. The subject property is zoned residential high-rise 1, exception 9 and 13 under the Town of Lindsay zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw requires a 4-meter setback from the exterior side lot line. This proposal is requesting a reduced setback of 3.17 meters. The exterior side lot line, located on the south side of the property, borders a walking trail with sufficient buffer of vegetation. Given this context, the reduced setback is not expected to impact any existing dwellings or neighboring land uses. The zoning bylaw allows a maximum lot coverage of 25%. The proposal seeks an increase to 27%. The proposal of the lot coverage limit is to ensure sufficient open space for landscaping, drainage, and to maintain the area's intended character. The proposed structure will be built within an existing parking lot, separate from the main buildings. Ample open space will remain with no expected impacts on drainage or landscaping. The structure will not be near any entranceways or walkways, and no parking spaces will be lost as a result of this installation. The proposed solar panels would provide a sustainable and cost-effective energy source, helping to reduce long-term operating costs while supporting the needs of hundreds of residents in an environmentally responsible way. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the Building Division and Engineering Department, indicating that they have no concerns. Staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions of the planner? Ms. Archer.
Through you, please. In Appendix C, I know the report says that we're not going to be losing any parking spots, but in Appendix C, where the location of the building is, it looks like we're losing, there's like hash marks as if they are not parking spots. Can you clarify, please?
Through the chair. So if you can look over here where my pointer is at, the solar panel structure is kind of a carport shape. So it's on top of stilts that go up and then overhang over the parking spots. So no parking spots should be lost in the process, and the solar panel would be covering the top of the parking spots. Thank you.
Anything further from committee? Excuse me. Is the applicant here or online? Oh, yes, and your name, please?
Hi there. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jenny Tran, and I'm here on behalf of Lindsay Retirement Home, the owner and operator of the retirement residence.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
So in short, we are in agreement and full support of city staff's comments and conditions. We have no issues with what's being proposed.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions of the deputy? All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I would now ask if there's anyone here or online wishing to speak in support of the application. In support of the application. Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Opposition to the application? Being none. Committee. Ms. Archer.
Brenton, please.
Mr. Strangway, second. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? All those in favor? And that carries. Ms. Chow, your application is approved.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
All right, moving right along. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-063, and this is 81 Clifford Drive, Geographic Township of Verlem. Mr. Okawa.
Thank you. The subject property is situated along the shoreline of Sturgeon Lake with access from Clifford Drive. The property is within an established waterfront neighborhood, and the lot currently contains a boathouse. A single-story detached dwelling and a detached garage is proposed for the property. However, no relief is required for the dwelling. The proposal seeks to add a permit to the construction of a detached garage in the front yard. Relief is required for the location of the accessory structure. The subject property is zoned rural residential type 1 under the Township of Verulem zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw requires an accessory structures to be located within the rear or interior yard. The proposal seeks to permit the accessory structure within the front yard. The intent of limiting accessory structures to side or rear yards is to reduce visual impact, preserve front yard space, and maintain a consistent streetscape. However, in many waterfront communities, front yard garages are common for direct driveway access. In this case, neighboring properties also have similar features, keeping the proposed development in line with the local character. Furthermore, while not currently in effect, garages are permitted in the front yard on waterfront properties under the new rural zoning bylaw. A garage in the front yard will allow for the structure to be more accessible and practical for vehicle storage. Given the above analysis, the variance is considered desirable and appropriate for the use of the land. Comments were received after the writing of the report from the KRCA, Building Division, and Engineering Department, indicating that they have no concerns, and staff acknowledges the application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance and respectfully recommends approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Committee, questions of the planner? All right, being none. Is the applicant here or online? I'm told online.
Yes.
And your name, sir?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Gary Newhook. I'm the applicant, and I'm here to answer any questions that the people may have.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions of the applicant? Looks like none, sir. You're in luck.
Thank you.
Anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Committee. Ms. Richardson.
It's recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Mr. Finn? Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Your application is approved, sir.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
And you. Moving with lightning speed here. File number D20-2025-064. And this is 916 County Road 121, Geographic Township of Verlem. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subject property is located in a residential agricultural area with access from County Road 121. The property is currently under development, intended to be used for low-density residential and agricultural purposes. A 2-story single detached dwelling with an attached garage and shed are currently under construction. The proposal itself seeks to facilitate the construction of an agricultural building for the storage of equipment to be used as part of an agricultural operation. Donor has indicated that there will be no livestock in the proposed agricultural structure. The intended use of the property and the proposed structures are typical in this area, which contains many agricultural operations. So the zoning bylaw requires a 30-meter interior side yard setback, and the proposed side yard setback here of the agricultural building is 10.7 meters. The property contains both wetlands and existing croplands, and the proposed agricultural building is strategically located to avoid disturbing the wetlands, the existing croplands, and areas regulated by the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority. Due to this irregular lot configurations and existing site restrictions, the proposed building is situated closer to what is considered an interior side lot line than what is permitted by the zoning bylaw. The proposed agricultural building complies with the maximum permitted height, and overcrowding is avoided as lot coverage remains compliant. And the proposed setback is sufficient for access between the proposed building and interior side lot line, as well as for the performance of any required building maintenance. After the writing of the report, the Development Engineering Division stated they have no objections with the proposal. The chief building official of the building division stated they have no concerns with the proposal. However, spatial separation as referenced in the Ontario Building Code will be required to be addressed at the building permit stage. The Agricultural Development Officer of the Economic Development Division also wanted me to share their comments, stating that the proposed location is a common sense approach for avoiding the requirement to place a building out in the middle of croppable areas, and that they are in support of the application. To conclude, staff acknowledges that the minor variance meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there questions to the planner? Mr. Finn?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I know you commented on the location of the proposed building, but this looks like a very large property. Is there not sufficient room to move it so as to comply with the bylaw?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the thing is, the majority of the property is, if they were to relocate the agricultural building, it would either impact the croppable areas, or it would go onto a wetland, or it would enter areas regulated by the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority. So that's what the applicant was trying to avoid this entire time. They actually do have a site plan that shows all of these areas. I wish I would have included that on the report, but that was my mistake that I didn't. But yeah, majority of the property is under those site restrictions. So they were essentially, they put it here and to go through the minor variance instead of having to place it on one of those areas.
Mr. Finn?
Just looking at Schedule 1 on the report, the environmental protected areas look fairly minimal.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, so under the official plan, so this is Schedule A of the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. That's what the official plan recognizes as the land use designation of environmental protection. But the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority has their own mapping where they look at their own natural heritage features. So, and that might not always correspond with what we have for our City of Kawartha Lakes official plan, which was passed in 2012.
Thank you.
Anything further in the committee? Ms. Archer?
Through you, please. On appendix, I don't see what appendix it was from the Suzanne Murchison. So maybe it should be to Mr. McKinnon. They're talking about spatial separation has to be addressed at the building permit stage. What are we concerned about being too close to?
Mr. McKinnon?
Through you, your chair, the Ontario Building Code regulates the distance from property lines for spatial separation, therefore the construction of an exposed building face. So it limits the amount of openings and potentially whether or not the wall that's facing the property line would require a fire resistance rating. It's to prevent the spread of fire to other properties.
Okay. Further from committee? All right, being none, is the applicant here or online? Does the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Your name, please?
Aaron.
Thank you, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically it's just, we have a well put in as well. So putting the shop at the 100 feet mark isn't going to work due to the well distance. It just makes the most sense here, avoiding cutting into our agricultural land as well as wetlands. And we are currently building a house. So this does meet the required setbacks of the well and the septic that is currently on the property.
All right, thank you. Mr. Finn, did you have any follow-up on that?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any questions of the applicant? All right, being none. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of this application? In support of the application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Opposition to the application? I'm advised none. Committee, are we? Ms. Richardson.
As recommended by staff.
Seconded by Mr. Erickson. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Your application is approved.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. We're now dealing with file number D20-2025-065. This is location part lot 21, concession 4, formerly ops, being part of part 1 of reference plan 57R-4940, former town of Lindsay. Mr. Shahid, did you wish to speak to your memo?
Yes, please, Mr. Chair. So the subject application, as per the memo, will have to be deferred, and this deferral is due to an administrative error identified during the public circulation process. Specifically, it was discovered 8 days prior to the hearing that the location map used to generate the circulation list, which is all of the abutting neighbors within 60 meters, was inaccurate. As a result, the required notices were not provided to the neighboring properties in accordance with the statutory requirements of the Planning Act. So to ensure compliance with the Act and to allow for the proper circulation of the notice, the application must be re-advertised and considered at a later date. And we as staff recommend it to be deferred to the upcoming Committee of Adjustment hearing, which is on August 28th of this year.
Thank you. Any questions of the planner? None. I'll be looking for a deferral motion for it to come back no later than the August 28th date. Then the August 28th, 2025 meeting. Ms. Archer, do you have a seconder? Mr. Finn. All right, the only thing that can be discussed is the time frame, and I think we've identified that. So all those in favor? And that carries. Thank you. All right. And last but not certainly not least, we've got file number D20-2025-066. This is part of lot 25, concession 3, lots 18 to 20 of Plan 171, Geographic Township of Fenland. Mr. Shahid, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the subject property is situated on the shoreline of Balsam Lake at the end of Cedar Point Road. The surrounding area is primarily low-density residential, with built form consisting of single detached dwellings and assorted accessory structures with varying proximities and locations in relation to the road and shoreline. So to provide some context here, a building permit was originally submitted for a single detached dwelling on the subject property. The applicant has since revised their plans and now intend to use the same structure solely as a detached garage, with plans to do an addition in the future to the existing dwelling on 34 Cedar Point Road, which is under the same ownership as the subject property. 34 Cedar Point Road is just north of the subject property, and you can see that on the location map of the screen. So I'll use my laser pointer here. It's this property right here. So as a result, a deeming bylaw is going to be required to ensure the consolidation of the subject property and 34 Point Cedar Road which is ensured through the conditions mentioned in the report. So the proposal seeks to facilitate the recognition of the detached garage, which is currently under construction on the subject property. The first story of the garage is intended to be used primarily for parking, with the second story to be used for personal storage. The garage will provide additional storage space for personal items as well as covered vehicle parking. The owners have indicated that the additional storage space is needed as there's no basement in the existing dwelling, and additional height is needed to accommodate a second-level storage loft. So as the original proposal for this was to be an individual building lot, and the subject structure was intended to be a single detached dwelling, so the 7.47 meters height was actually permitted, as the maximum height for a dwelling is 11 meters. However, as the intended use has been modified and the building currently under construction is to function solely as a detached garage, the maximum height for accessory buildings and structures of 5 meters applies. So the built form character of the neighborhood is not anticipated to be negatively impacted, as the structure aligns with what is typically seen on low density residential properties. And the proposed garage complies with the minimum front and interior side yard setbacks. Between the proposed garage and both the front and interior side lot lines, there are stands of mature vegetation, which provide visual screening from the road and from the abutting property. And I have shown that on the image on the slide. It's the top left image. So, and the existing dwelling on 34 Cedar Point Road is greater with respect to ground floor area and gross floor area, ensuring the primary use remains to be the residential dwelling, which the owner intends to construct an addition on in the future. And just for comparative purposes, if the proposal had not changed and the lot continued to be an individual building lot, the resulting build form from that could have been more substantial, including the existing structure, as well as they could have proposed various accessory structures in addition to any single detached dwelling. But now that the proposal is to merge the two lots and have the subject structure function solely as a garage, the overall amount of development is less than what could have occurred if the two lots would not have been merged. In terms of comments, after the writing of the report, the chief building official of the building division stated there's an active building permit for the construction of a single detached dwelling. So a revised permit will be required, which will require revised designs to remove all dwelling-related components, and no further constructions or internal inspections can be done until the lands are consolidated and the variance is approved. Otherwise, the chief building official stated there are no concerns. The Development Engineering Division stated they have no objections to the proposal, and the Kawartha Region Conservation Authority stated they are in support of the application and that a permit has already been issued for a detached garage. To conclude, staff acknowledges that the subject application meets all 4 tests of a minor variance, and we recommend approval of the application subject to the conditions identified. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the planner? Mr. Finn.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Once these two lots are consolidated into one ownership, will the detached garage be considered to be in the front yard of the lot? And is there any concern about that?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So under this zoning bylaw, garages are allowed to be in the front yard when we're looking at waterfront lots. So it's not a concern regardless.
Thank you.
Anything further from committee? All right, being none, is the applicant here or is the applicant online? Oh, are you folks part of this? Do you wish to speak to it? No, I'm the applicant, but online? All right. And your name, sir?
Glenn Wilcox from Wilcox Architects. We're doing the design work for the owners, and I've read the report, and I'm here to answer any questions that the committee might have, and I know the owners are present personally at the meeting today, and they can help as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions of the deputant? All right, looks like none, and you folks don't wish to speak to it? All right. Is there anyone here online wishing to speak in support of the application, in support of this application? Anyone here online wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Opposition to the application? Being none, committee. Mr. Strangway.
As recommended by staff.
Do I have a seconder? Ms. Richardson. All right. Any further comments or questions with respect to the motion on the floor? Being none, all those in favor? And that carries. Your application is approved. Time? Wow. Smoking right. We're just getting better each meeting. Hey, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's no consents. Under other business, I'm going to ask the director if she would like to recognize a couple of folks we have in the gallery.
I certainly would. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So one of our summer students in the Planning Division, Kathy Liu, is joining us from the gallery today in anticipation of next month's committee meeting, where you'll see a little more from Kathy at that time. Also joining us in the gallery today, and for many more meetings to come, we certainly hope, is our new manager of planning. Susan Rosales joined...
There, Susan, let's have a look at you.
Oh, not to put her on the spot.
We can hardly see you over the top of that. That's better. All right. Welcome.
So Susan joins us this week. This is, I think, day 3 at this point in the Planning Division. Susan is a registered professional planner. She brings with her over 30 years of experience in strategic planning and development in the private, in the public, and in provincial organizations, with a wealth of knowledge and leadership skills that align with both the manager position and with our corporate values. Of particular note is Susan's approach to creative compliance. That is an expression I think we're going to hear more about. So basically finding creative, innovative solutions and fostering collaboration amongst diverse stakeholders, which we believe will contribute to the city's strategic priorities of sustainable growth and community well-being. So Mr. Chair and committee members, please join me in welcoming our new staff to the planning team.
We're a pretty tough group to deal with. I want you to know that. All right. Anything further from committee under other business? All right. I'm going to recognize Mr. Okawa. Mr. Okawa, you're relatively new to the organization, at least making your presentations here. And I just want to say to you that you're doing an excellent job. You articulate the applications very well, and you're very clear and concise. So that's the kind of thing that we appreciate in the committee. So thank you very much, and for your efforts. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further? I'm always recognizing the other folks, so no problem there, because our staff do an excellent job. There's no question about that. Anything further, Director? Anything from staff? All right. Being none, I guess I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Strangway. Oh, nobody wants to go home. Ms. Richardson. All those in favor? And that carries. Thank you.